So, it seems in recent years, turning toys into big screen movies seems to be a trend that's picking up. I mean, we've had things like, obviously, the Toy Story, the biggest toy franchise when it comes to movies. We've had the Lego movies, we had Batman Lego movie as well. Obviously, we had the Barbie movie that came out, which did incredibly well. They're trying to get a Hot Wheels movie started, and now it looks like we're going into a live-action Toys R Us movie. I mean, I had to think about this. Before I actually read into this article, I saw the headline this morning. I looked up at the ceiling and I thought, how can they turn a Toys R Us store into a movie? But when we get into this article and you start reading what they're actually doing with this movie, it has a very, very interesting concept in the vein of a Jumanji movie, which sounds kind of exciting. So let's start breaking this down and see what's going on with this movie. This comes to us from comicbook.com. Live action Toys R Us movie in the works with Sonic the Hedgehog producer. So, going down here, I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. There are millions of toys at Toys R Us that I can play with. So, decades after that jingle became synonymous with childhoods of the 80s and 90s. Yeah, I grew up in the 90s. I remember my parents taking me to Toys R Us. And, when it was time to leave, I'd throw a hissy fit because my parents wouldn't buy me anything. But toys upon toys upon toys. We all had great experiences growing up with Toys R Us stores. It's absolutely fantastic. Some grown-up Toys R Us kids are turning the iconic toy store brand into a live-action movie. Story Kitchen, a media company that specializes in adapting video games and other non-traditional IPs into films and television shows, is developing the live-action Toys R Us movie with Toys R Us Studios, according to Variety. I didn't even know Toys R Us had a studio. Like, do they make animated movies or do they make films? I didn't even know they had a studio branch of their company. Unless it's been around for a long time and I've just missed that, I'm not really sure. But that's kind of cool. So, Toys R Us is a cultural touchstone that continues impacting the child and all of us today. Story Kitchen co-founders Dimitri M. Johnson and Mike Goldberg said in a statement, "As 80s kids who considered Toys R Us one of the most magical places on earth, we honoured to partner to create a film that will capture the spirit of adventure, creativity and nostalgia that Toys R Us represents." Yeah, I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, I mean, I have fond memories. I remember walking into Toys R Us and half of the toys from the aisles, sorry, I got my words mixed up then. Half of the toys from the aisles would be on the floor because there'd be so many kids in there and they would just pull the toys off the aisles and they would sit on the floor playing with the toys. And the staff members had to constantly go around picking the toys back up off the floor and putting them back on the shelves because the kids would just make a mess. It's funny as anything. And we have Geoffrey the Giraffe here. This is the mascot. I believe his name's Geoffrey the Giraffe, Toys R Us mascot. Used to scare the hell out of me when he was walking around the store. But that's another story. So, the untitled Toys R Us movie will be a modern, fast-paced adventure that taps into Toys R Us brand's relevance across more than 70 years in the toy industry. And said to be similar to Night at the Museum. You remember that film with Ben Stiller where he would walk around the museum and all the exhibits would come to life at night. So that gives us an idea as to what we could be getting into here. About the Museum of Natural History exhibits that come alive at night. So yeah, it could be kind of a cross between Toys R Us and a Toy Story type of movie. The toys come alive, the aisles kind of come alive, and you get yourself into a wacky adventure with all these different toys. According to Variety, the movie, which is in early development, is also in the vein of Big and Back to the Future and toy-based movies like Sony's Jumanji reboot and Warner Bros. Blockbuster Barbie movie. So that's interesting there, when it says Sony's Jumanji reboot. So obviously with Jumanji, you get sucked into this kind of game world and you have to complete tasks in order to get back out of it. So that kind of makes me think, I mean, when you're walking around the store in the movie, each of the aisles, like you have Barbie, you have Marvel, you have Lego, are you going to be getting sucked into the aisles and then you're kind of inside that world? You're like in the Barbie world, you have to complete a load of games to get out of the Barbie world, then you have to go into like the Lego aisle where you have to complete tasks to get out of the Lego aisle. That could be something, it could be something like that could be really, really interesting. So, as the Toys R Us first film, the project is an exciting opportunity to bring the magic of our brand to big screen, said Kim Miller Olko, president of Toys R Us Studios. It will be a journey as boundless as play itself, evoking the electric sense of wonder that is the essence of Toys R Us. The story will capture the imagination, adventure, and joy that has made Toys R Us a destination for kids of all ages. But now that I think about it, if they're using a lot of different toys from different companies, they would have to get all the licensing and copyright copyrights to all these different toys from like Marvel, Lego, Barbie, all these different companies to be used in their movie, and that would be expensive to get all those rights to those different toys to appear inside your movie. Unless they're going to go with original toys that aren't kind of copyrighted, I'm not exactly sure which avenue they would go. But acquiring all the rights to all these different toys, that could be an expensive endeavor. But then again, I guess they already have the rights. They sell the toys in their stores. I mean, but I guess having the rights to sell the toys and having the rights in the movies is two different things. So yeah, I'm not sure how that would work, but it's interesting to think about. The report adds that the producers are having preliminary talks with potential filmmakers and casting and additional details expected in the months ahead. I mean, do you know what something would be really, really fun? If they crossed this over with the Barbie movie. So you had the Barbie actress, Margot Robbie. I couldn't think of her name then. If you had Margot Robbie pop up as a cameo, when they get to the Barbie aisle inside Toys R Us in the movie, Margot Robbie's Barbie kind of appears in the movie. So it's like a crossover between the two films. That would be super, super interesting if they did that. So Johnson, a producer of the Paramount-based Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, based on the Sega video games, launched Story Kitchen with Goldberg in 2022. Besides the hit Sonic trilogy, Story Kitchen teamed with Netflix on the animated series Tomb Raider: The Legend of Lara Croft, Amazon MGM Studios for the live-action Tomb Raider from Phoebe Waller-Bridge, which I believe has been put on the back burner. I think that's been put on the shelf for a while. The upcoming Streets of Rage adaptation in the works at Lionsgate, and Paul W.S. Anderson's House of the Dead reboot film. I'm actually looking forward to that. So, yeah, Johnson and Goldberg are producing with Timothy L. Stevenson and Elena Sandoval from Story Kitchen, with Olco producing the Toys R Us Studios. In 2024, Olco and Toys R Us Studios produced a 67 brand film during the 2024 Cannes Lion Festival, The Short, which depicts a young Charles Lazarus, founder of the Toys R Us and creator of Geoffrey the Giraffe, dreaming of a magical place that will change toy stores forever. The first ever brand film created using OpenAI's new text-to-video tool, Sora. Okay, so they used Sora. They used AI video generation to create a short for the Cannes Festival. I'm surprised they were even allowed to be in the Cannes Festival using AI video, but that's a whole nother story for another video. But yeah, so that's just a bit of a backstory there about what they've been doing with the Toys R Us Studios. But guys, there we go. So like, it's a Jumanji type of film with bits of Back to the Future. Where was it that we got to? Let me just try and find it again. So Night at the Museum. We've got Night at the Museum, Big, Back to the Future, and toy-based movies like Sony's Jumanji and Warner Brothers' blockbuster Barbie. So a lot of different films here kind of mixed together, and it gets the mind kind of turning as to what this could be. But getting sucked into the aisles and then completing tasks to get back out of the aisles, you know, with Barbie, Lego, all these different kind of toys, I think that would be kind of fun to see. And I'd be interested, if they did it in the vein of a Jumanji film, I think it would be quite interesting. And it's something that could potentially be quite big. I mean, toy movies seem to be doing very well for themselves recently. So yeah, guys, so jump into the comment section. Let me know what you think about this. A live action Toys R Us movie. Do you think it sounds good? Do you think it sounds dumb? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comment section, guys. As always, thanks so much for being here. Make sure you hit the like button before you leave. Consider becoming a subscriber of the channel if you haven't done so far. It goes a long way to supporting my content, so I really appreciate that. And as always, I will see you in the next video.